All right, so let's look at this. We have a hyperbola with vertices at 5, 2, and 5, negative 8, with an asymptote of y plus 3 equals 2/5 times the quantity x minus 5. Now, as long as the asymptote is given to us nicely, we should be able to easily pick off the center from that. But if you aren't too sure about that, we could also use these vertices, because your center would have to be the midpoint between these. So the average of 5 and 5 is 5, and the average of 2 and negative 8, 2 plus negative 8 is negative 6, half of that is negative 3. And you can see how the 5 and the negative 3 are right there in the asymptote. All right, so let's see. My vertices are 5, 2, 5, negative 8. My center is 5, negative 3. Get the orientation on this right. So here's 5, negative 3. And I'm going up for one of these vertices at 5, 2. I guess I should make that filled in. And I'm going down here to 5, negative 8. So it tells me that my branches are opening up and down, so something like this, which tells me that the y part is going to be the positive one of my equation. So we're going to take y plus 3 squared over something, we'll come back to that, minus x minus 5 squared over something, and this equals 1. All right. Well, if you look at the way that y is set up, the distance here and the distance here are both 5 units. Okay. Wait, so make sure I'm not. Okay. So that means that your value underneath the y would be 5 squared. Well, what about underneath the x? Well, I'm going to run into a bit of a hiccup here. And I don't know if maybe I didn't write the problem the way I meant to, but it doesn't matter because it's still going to work. Your asymptote is given by this 2/5 there, right? That slope. So remember that b over a is supposed to be 2 over 5, right? Now, from what we have right here, because this is underneath the y, that means b is equal to 5. So what is a? Well, let's work this out in this equation. So if b is 5, that means 5 over a equals 2 over 5. So saying the cross product's equal means that 2a equals 25. So a is 25 halves. All right, so then over here, we're going to say 25 halves squared. That's going to be the form for my hyperbola. All right, so let's answer the questions. Let's see, so a is 25 halves. Oh, it's going to be c. Oh, gee. So c squared is going to equal 25 plus, when I square this, we get 625 over 4. Getting a common denominator of 4, that makes this 100 over 4 plus 625 over 4. So c squared is 725 over 4. C is going to be the square root. The square root of 725 over 4. All right, so the denominator is clearly going to be 2. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 725. 725 breaks down as 25 times 29. So this gives me 5 square roots of 29. Okay, so now we can answer our questions. Our center. I think I already wrote that, didn't I? So 5, negative 3. The vertices were already given to us, your foci. So that's going to be 5, and then negative 3 plus or minus this nasty value for c. So 5 square root of 29 over 2. Your transverse axis is going to be a vertical line, so that's x equals 5. Boy, my handwriting is really off today. I'm very sorry. Your conjugate axis is y equals negative 3. Your asymptotes, well, we can really just kind of grab this right here, and it's going to be plus or minus, right? So asymptotes are y plus 3 equals plus or minus 2/5 x minus 5. My domain is all real numbers because we see the orientation goes opening up and down, so all the way left, all the way right. So negative 8 and 2, these are the values I'm going to be working with for my range. My range is coming from negative infinity up to negative 8, union, and then 2 to infinity. So there we go. All this stuff answered, and then some, right? Now let's look at the next example. We have a vertex at the ordered pair negative 6, 4, and we have our foci at negative 4, 4, and negative 14, 4. So the foci and the vertices are always going to be equally spaced across from your center. So if these are my foci, the midpoint will be my center. So the average of negative 4 and negative 14, so we add that, that's negative 18, divided by 2, you get negative 9, and the y is 4. The vertex is at negative 6, 4, so that's going to help us out with some other stuff. Let's go ahead and get the other vertex. So we got one vertex that is, if you look at this, from negative 6 to negative 9, that's a change of 3. So I think it's helpful if you kind of draw a quick little picture here. So we are at negative 9, 4 for the center. One vertex is over here at negative 6, 4. So you can see that this is 3 units over here to the right. So then we have another vertex, which is going to be 3 units over here to the left. So if we subtract 3 from negative 9, we have the other vertex at negative 12, positive 4. All right, so let's see what we can get from here, right? Oh, we got the foci too. Oh, that's even better, right? Not even better, but it still gives us information. Because of the orientation of these vertices from the center, we know we're opening out to the sides. Your focus is going to be inside here at negative 4, 4. Okay, so as I build this, we have x plus 9 squared over, the change here was 3, so it's going to be over 9, minus, then we have y minus 4 quantity squared. But what goes underneath here? See, that's what we got to figure out. Now, remember this. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared when we're talking about the hyperbola. I actually know what c is, because c is the distance from the center to a focus. So that's a distance of 5, so the c squared is 25. A squared, we know it's 9, and then plus b squared. So b squared equals 16, which means b equals 4. So this is over 16. It equals 1. Now let's finish this, right? We have the center, the foci, the vertices. Okay, your transverse axis, this horizontal line going through the center and the vertices and the foci, and that's y equals 4. The conjugate axis, x equals -9. This guy right here. Vertical line going through the center, x equals -9. Your asymptotes. So y minus 4 equals plus or minus b over a. B is coming from that guy, so it's 4 over a, 3, and then times x plus 9. And the last thing to do is to talk about your domain and your range. So the domain is -infinity, and it stops right here at that value, and we figured out that the coordinates here were -12, 4. So -infinity to -12 bracket union -6 to infinity. And then my range here is all real numbers. And that's it. So you take the pieces that are given to us. And in this case, even though we weren't given the center, we could easily find the center because we know it's the midpoint of the two vertices or the two foci, depending on what we have. And because we knew the center and the vertex, we knew what A or B was, in this case A. And because we knew a focus, we knew what C was. So if you know 2 of the 3 of A, B, and C, you can find the other one using that relationship right there. Draw the picture, get an idea about things, find your transverse axis, your conjugate axis, your asymptotes, and you'll be done in no time.